Hello and welcome to In-Sight.us. In-Sight.us was designed by industry and data experts to provide solicitation, awardee, award, and related documents to anyone interested in government contracting. First, I will demonstrate one type of search and the resulting logical pathway to all the data surrounding it. Then I will highlight our watchlist and community functionalities. Next, I will discuss notifications and saved searches. And then we'll discuss the bottom line subscription model, which is $40 a month per person, which includes everything that I will show you here, including documents, and our mobile app for Android and Apple products. Finally, we will discuss a little more about the subscription and user functionality and portal management from those who have more than one user in their organization. This is our home screen here that you will see when you go to the landing page. When you log into In-Sight, you will land on your home screen that will look similar to this screen. We have several ways of searching on In-Sight, but I'm going to focus on this one particular search feature that we have where most of our users are generating their initial searches. These buttons up here are quick buttons. We've designed the site to minimize the number of clicks that you need to perform to get to the information that you are looking for or that you've already found and have saved somewhere. So if we're going to look for an opportunity that is in the past, and we want to follow it through to its resulting contract because perhaps it's coming up for a recompete and we want to see that initial performance work statement, labor categories, things like that, to try to come up with an idea of how to price our proposal or to see if it's something that we want to pursue. This is a search that I will start with here just so that we can show the way that the solicitation, contract, and awardee data have been correlated in a logical fashion for you. So if I click the Find Opportunities button here, and I'm just going to type in for this purpose IT support services, because I happen to know that there's an old solicitation that was awarded and then was up for recompete. So it's a good use case for us. And I'm just going to click Search Opportunities. I don't need to put the dates in. We're returning data from FBO. That's the source of data that we have for the opportunities at this point. And even if you were in FBO, you might get thousands of entries back. FBO acts like a bulletin board. Although they don't allow you to search back more than 365 days, we do have the ability to go back further than that. Also, FBO has at times posted the same solicitation information across different web pages. We have overcome that challenge of finding those specific unique web pages by placing anything relevant to one solicitation into one page, as I will show you here. Now, as I said, you could get thousands of returned results from your FBO inquiry. We have 633. That's still far too many to even scroll through. So we have this ability up here to filter and then to sort on the columns to try to narrow down our search items. Now, I happen to know that this solicitation was generated through the Defense Logistics Agency. So I'm just going to go to this column here and start typing in DLA, and that goes ahead and narrows that down. Now I'm down to 17 entries rather quickly. I know that I want an older solicitation, the original solicitation from years ago. So I'm just going to sort this column in reverse here. And then I can obviously filter it some more, sort it some more, but if I just go through and start reading the words in the subject line that were returned, I can see that this one here, IT System Support Services, is the first one I get to that could be the right one. The timing of it's older, so that's right. So just for this purpose, I'm going to go ahead and click on this first one, but I could click on any of these, if I thought that maybe the July one was correct. I happen to know that this is the correct one here for what I want to find, but you understand what we're getting at. So I'm going to click view here. And I do want to note that when we did the search, although this is what you're seeing in the subject line, the search did search both the subject line and the content of the FBO posting. So just because that, for space constraints, we're just listing the subject line here, obviously. So when I click on view, I'm going to display how we are representing the FBO data in In-Sight. Now this is FBO information. This is not things that have been written by us or crafted by us at all. This is the information as it appears in FBO. You have the description of what occurred on that September 11, 2011 notice that we just clicked on. We also have the information here, further information directly from FBO. We have the link here back to FBO whenever it's possible. We give links out to the outside source wherever we can so that you can go verify or whatever you want to do. Now, I do want to note, as I mentioned before, sometimes FBO puts solicitations across multiple web pages. So that would be something that, we have the links back to. If FBO has left those pages live, then you'll be able to actually see that web page. But as we stated, they don't let you search back more than 365 days. However, very often the pages are actually, the links are still live. So we've given that ability for you to go back easily and see those links. And anything pertinent to this solicitation here is accessible under this History tab. And you can see all the notifications to this opportunity that have been posted in FBO. So back to the original description that we landed on, I can see this is IT systems support services to the DLA. Based on the information that I knew about it, which is scant, that it was Ogden, it was J6. One thing that we noted quickly, it was a competitive 8A set aside, which for the client that this is actually conducted for, we knew was not going to be something that would be of interest to them once we saw that was the competitive 8A. But nevertheless, for the use case, it's important that we just continue to keep going. We have this awards tab here. You'll see here the award date and award number in here as well. Since this solicitation was awarded and the announcement for that award was placed into FBO, we do have the corresponding awards tab here. So we can go see the award. What I do want to show you is first we have this description, then we have the history tab here so you can see any of the history on this opportunity. We have this In-Sight tab, which we'll discuss later. We have FBO Docs tab here. Any of the documents that were posted in FBO we have made available. You can click on them, they'll download, you can print them, share them, email them out to folks, whichever you'd like. For the purpose of the use case, we do have the performance work statement and the table of labor categories and hours. So if we decide we're going to, we can at least use the old document to help try to price our new proposal if we decide to pursue it. The awards tab here, as I spoke about earlier, now we have this awards number as was shown down here. We also have the awardee name. So we can also go and look up this awardee, and we'll do that in just a moment. I'm going to go ahead and show you one other thing on the solicitation page, and that's this Opportunity Actions button. If I wanted to watch this solicitation or another one that I knew was in process and hadn't been awarded, whichever the case, you can always add it to a watch list. You could create a watch list around it. So if you have a healthcare watch list that you like to add things to, you could add it to that, or you could say this is a new one, call it what you want and add it to a watch list. We have a communities feature, which I'll also discuss later. You can, manage that from here, adding it to a community. You can share inside the system with other folks on the system. You can also email it to a colleague using their email address. This add insight and upload a document feature, adding insight if you have information about the opportunity that you think would be beneficial for yourself to add to it or for others to know about it. You can click Add Insight. It'll open up a form. You can add the information. Anybody who comes to this solicitation will be able to click on this Insight tab here, see that there's been added insight. They'll see that what you've posted and it's attributable to you, so they could connect with you or just take the information and benefit from it. You can upload a document to it, like if you've been in an industry day or something like that as well. And again, if you click on this Insight tab, it will show that there's been insight added or a document uploaded. Those are publicly available to anybody in the site. So if you have information that you want to add to a solicitation, but you don't want other folks to know about it, then we would say create a private community, and we'll discuss that later, as I said. But this functionality I like to point out while we're on this solicitation page. So back to the actual awards, because we've got this solicitation and we have the documents for it. Let's find out what the award was like, what was it was about. So I just click on the link to the award, and these are the pertinent awards to the solicitation that we were just on. You can see the awardee's name here. Again, we have the same functionality on the with the filtering here. You can also export this out if you needed to or wanted to for a report or whatever management tool that you need. I'm going to click on View on this top entry in this awards table so that we can show you how we're just displaying contract information in Insight. So we have the award number, the award date. Again, this actions button, similar to what we had on the solicitation page. You can add it to a community, create a community around it, or share it, as we spoke about before. If you do share it, I do want to note, if it's to someone outside of the system, they'll be able to see the information. They won't be able to manipulate inside Insight, this system, but they will be able to see what you send them. This is the award information as it's being displayed, provided by FPDS. So the solicitation information is from FBO. The award information is from FPDS or FSRS, ESRS for the sub-award data. So we have the general information that was provided in FPDS, and we have that displayed here. Again, we see it's the 8A competed. Any task orders are also listed right here. They will display in similar fashion to this award in terms of how the page looks. If there were any sub-awards, those would be here. If there was any added insight relative to it, FBO documents, things like that, and just as we spoke about before. So back to this, we can see now that we have the award data, we also can go look at the awardee. We have, as I mentioned, several places on the site that we can search from. So we use this Find Opportunities button here to initiate our initial quick search. But we do have this simplified search tool over here that has these abilities beneath it. So I'm just going to go to the Companies tab and type in NTVI Fed, and we will see how we're displaying the company information that is is displayed as it is entered into the SAM, Systems for Award Management database. This information here is relative to my profile, what I've put in for my company and the NAICS I've associated. So this is coming from my profile page. So that's where that's from. But if I just type in NTVI Fed here and we'll search below, they have 3 entries that come back. They have 3 DUNS numbers apparently for whatever reason, multiple locations and such, whatever the case might be. But it comes up with, we show all 3, whatever's associated with that company. I'm just going to click on the first one so that we can show you what it looks like when we display the company data. Again, this is from Systems for Award Management. So these 2 boxes here is information that is provided from their SAM entry that they maintain. Again, there's their link to their company, so you can go right back out and do any further research that you want to do. These are all the business types they're registered under. Their NAICS codes, if there was more than one, those would be here. This box here, if they had members of In-Sight that had connected their profile to their company name, that this number would go up. Prime awards, subcontracts, we've gone back through 2012. So these are all the prime awards and subcontracts that NTVI Fed has been awarded by agencies. We'll display these prime awards down here on this tab. Again, the familiar sorting filtering boxes rather, and the export capability. If I was to click on this view button here, we would view this contract, which is the page we essentially just left, that display that we just saw. Subcontracts that they've been awarded, those are here too, so you can filter on that. You can click view, and you would view the subcontract information similar to what we had done before. If you wanted to see the awards they've received by agency in terms of a funding profile, we have this button here. When I click on that, it displays, defaults to the current year, but I'll just go ahead and go back through 2012 to give a better idea. So it shows the numbers awarded, amounts awarded by agency for the different agencies. So, you know, if you were reviewing, hey, do they have a good foothold with a DLA? Or they, is it worth us trying to partner with someone to compete on this new opportunity that's coming out? Or, you know, is it worth the effort and the time? You know, you could put this as part of your evaluation of whether it was business you wanted to pursue or not. It's just more information to help you make an informed business decision. So that's the gist of one of the search capabilities that we have, but it was just a good way to describe how we've taken the opportunity data and the award data and the awardee data and correlated it in a fashion where I could have started with any piece of information, the awardee name or the contract number, you know, and gone about getting all this information, just, you know, going through a different path, but essentially it all is a nice big circle and connects together. So I could have started with company search here, or I could have gone to contracts and searched here. We have a specific opportunity search page here. This I'll show you so that you can see we can put in specific search criteria here that when you know different things, you want to narrow it or whatever, you can search from here. Any search initiated from here, from this opportunity search page, you have the opportunity to save that search criteria, so you can go back and rerun that search as often as you want. We don't send out emails every single day saying this is the search criteria you're looking for and this is what is returned in it. You come in and you run that search when you're ready to run that search, and that's accessible. A saved search is accessible from here. On the you have a page where you can edit it or delete it or whatever, but also on your home page we do have the saved searches accessible from down in this right hand corner, so when you can log in and run it quickly and easily from here. Now, when we talked about watch lists a moment ago in communities, the watch list, I'll take us to the watch list page, but I want to note here that the activity on your watch list, anything that you've placed on a watch list, you will see the activity in your activity feed here. You'll also get an email from the system saying there's been activity. We also have a mobile app, as I mentioned. You'll get a notification of activity on that as well. We have this one search tool here. It's not search really, it's a watch tool called Foresight. And if you know of an opportunity that's going to be released, they've given you the number, but it hasn't been posted on FBO yet, you can go into Foresight, fill out the form, and put in the exact solicitation number that you're waiting for to be released. And when it is posted on FBO, you'll get a notification of that as well. So those are the notifications that we send externally. Internally, you can see this footprint over here. If someone tried to connect with me, I would have a connection request up here. If someone had posted in a community that I was in, there would be notification of that here. If someone had shared something with me or invited me to a private community, because you must be invited to private communities. Public communities you can join, but private communities necessitate invitations. There'll be notifications of those here. We just don't send out lots of notification emails. These would be things you would come in and take note of and act on if you wanted to. The watch list page, as I said, you could create a watch list from here. You could create a watch list from that actual solicitation, as I showed you with that drop down. This is the overview of your watch lists. You can manage the specific watch list from this section here. So if I was to click on various cases, which is the name of this watch list, anything that is in that watch list is going to populate in this table over here, and I can go directly to it. These little buttons allow me to share, move it, rename, or copy and move. delete from the watch list. I can also manage this entire watch list itself from right here if I want to. If I want to go and see just all my opportunities, regardless of what watch list they're on, we have this ability here. Any watched opportunities that I have are available right here. I can create a new watch list from these just by clicking on this, and they populate over here. I can click create and name it and clear it. But so that's just a watch list management page. The communities page. Communities are a collaborative space, so you can add solicitations and contracts and things like that to communities. So if you want to work in a contained space where you want to have all the documents relevant to any solicitations that you're working on as a group, all accessible in one place without having to go and look for them, we made that possible through the implementation of our communities piece. So these are the communities I'm a member of that I've created. The ones that I'm a member of that I have not only created, but that I'm a member of are available here as well by clicking on them. Private's red, public's black. These are some popular ones. Any activity in my communities, it shows up over on the community activity feed, so that's something I would go look at. We have public communities, over 210, I think, that we've made ourselves and that we moderate. So if I want to see about doing business with the Department of Interior, for instance, I just start typing in interior and I can click on the topic. It's a public community, as you see right here. And this is what a community looks like, public or private. This is what it looks like, the format of it. It's the name. You have the actions here. I can invite people. I can share it. I can leave it. I can export the information. I can upload a document to it. If I uploaded a document to it, anytime you upload a document, the count is reflected here. If there were solicitations associated with this community or contracts, if I had clicked on this solicitation page and added it to a community, the solicitation count, or contract count, whichever the case might be, would go up. I could click on this here. I could see the listed solicitations. Any associated documents to the solicitation or contract would be populated down here by clicking on documents. I could get to any of those documents. So if you're working with a group of people on a project, if you attach things into a community, then you can work in one space and not have to go all over. As to these public communities that we've tried to provide information like annual funding reports and things like that and forecasts, we also put the links so that you can go easily to those agencies and find out whatever other information you would like to know about them. You can post in the communities. Again, there'd be notification if it was my community. On my homepage, there'd been a post to the community. You can see who's members of it. So there's a lot more that you could do with it, but just as a brief overview as to how we're handling communities and what the purpose. One purpose is this: it's a collaborative space, and another purpose is ones that we've built to help you do business and inform you. And you have this button up here, just like we have these others. You could create a community. You can just create it on the fly, and then you can go in and edit it and set the privacy and things like that. And just touch on this save the date. So if you know of something, you could click save the date, and it'll add a little calendar notification for you on your own calendar. We don't have a calendar in the system. The next thing I want to talk about, again, notifications and save searches. We talked a little bit about those already. Again, it is when you save a search, you save the search criteria, not the search results. We don't send notifications out for saved search information. The notifications are strictly for Watchlist and for site information. And then this connections piece here, you can search the site to find out who members are. You can, of course, invite people and see where our members are located. You can see the who you're connected with and disconnect from them. You can cancel a connection. If I listed everybody I could connect here, if I wanted to, I can see their profile. So I'll show you what a profile looks like. If I'm looking at this profile, this is how it would view. I could go to the work history for this person, the education skills, and so forth to find out about them. If they had marked their profile as private, I would not be able to see their profile. It would just say this is private. Just like privacy is very important, and we take that seriously with communities. Where I mentioned before, we have private communities. If a community is private, there's not even no one knows that community exists except for you. And if you invite people to that community and they join that community, then they obviously have access to the information in that community. But you can, in fact, go in and block them at a later date if you wanted. So this is some information about Alison Townsend. You can go and click on connections and see who she's connected to, but all of this information here, her statistics in the site, you're unable to click on any of these. If this was my own profile, I can click on any of these just as I could from my home screen, and I could get directly to any of these management pages. Here's her business information. Again, I could go right to her website. So that's what that profile for a user looks like. If I'm looking at my profile, so if you were looking at your own profile, you can go in and you can edit your profile. Like I said before, you can get to any of these management pages directly from here. So like all the things I've uploaded or things that have been shared with me, any of my information, and here I can go to any of these and edit any of that information. While I'm over on this right-hand menu where I got to my profile, this is where all the terms and conditions, data sources, and things like that are listed. For In-Sight, if you want or need feedback and support assistance, we have that available over here as well. It's just a little modal, but you can always email us directly. As I spoke about before, we have a subscription model that's per user. It's $40 a month. It includes everything I've shown, all the documents, the mobile app, and things like that. There's no other charges. If you pay an annual subscription up front, it's $384 up front as opposed to paying $40 a month. We have a corporate account feature where the price doesn't change necessarily, but if you have multiple users in your company, you can purchase multiple seats at one time, and then you can assign those seats to folks inside your company. If they leave your company, you can turn their seat off and freeze it up for someone else. So if you're just working on a project and you pull people into the site and put them in a community so that you all can collaborate, when that project's over or they move on, you can remove them from your account. They have the ability to that profile still remains active, alive and ready to be used again and set back up, but they can pay for it on their own or associate it, if they are moved to another company or whatever. So your information remains. It doesn't disappear, but you can remove it from your corporate seat so that you can free that up. And we found that actually to be a fairly popular model, especially in this industry. So that about covers the overview of In-Sight. There's plenty of other ways that the site is used for searching and for business purposes. We'd love to discuss it more. You can definitely reach out to us for a demo more suited specifically to your needs, or if you have any questions. But this is just a nice quick overview, a good idea of what the site has to offer. Again, FBO, FSRS, FPDS, SAM data, and all the related documents. So we hope that you would follow up with us and ask for more information or answers to any questions you might have. And we thank you for your time.